Hey guys, this review plus demo is featuring a new product that I've been trying out for a couple of weeks, which is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation Plus Concealer. And I had seen this on, I don't know, did I see it in a magazine first? Or maybe, I can't remember where I saw it. I know I've seen a couple of reviews of it on YouTube, and I'm a big Clinique fan. I've been using Clinique since I was 15 years old, which was a long time ago. 20 years ago, probably had my first Clinique product, which was a powder and a soap. That's all I was allowed to get. Since then, I've worked for Clinique for 5 years when I was in college. I don't work for Clinique anymore. This wasn't sent to me. I purchased this with my own money, but I really wanted to try it because I've had a lot of ickiness with foundation lately. I don't know, it just seems to be settling on my face weird. I've been using a lot of BB creams because I feel like I don't get this like weirdness through here at the end of the day. But with the foundations that I've been trying over the past year probably, I don't know if my skin's just changing because I'm getting older or what, I just have had the worst time. So I wanted to give this one a try, and I know that Clinique has a, return guarantee that if you don't like something, you can absolutely bring it back. But I have to tell you, I've been loving this. Now, I did do a little bit of research on it before I purchased it. Also talked to the consultant when I purchased it at the counter. He recommended applying it with your fingers, and I did try that from the very beginning. Wasn't happy with it. So I busted out my beauty blender, which I haven't used in a really long time. And I got this in one of my subscription boxes probably 2 years ago or more. And I don't really use it that often. I don't know why, because I guess I just haven't had the type of foundation that works that great with it. Most often I use a brush to apply my foundation. With this, a brush just streaks it. It does not, I don't think it applies well. I've seen some other YouTubers talk about using a brush and that they really like it. Beauty Blender works best for me, and I do dampen it, which you'll see here in the demo. I use it damp so it's sort of like expanded and it applies the foundation a little bit more sheerly. What also is important about this foundation, and I came across this information just reading through comments on a video that another YouTuber had done where she absolutely hated it. What I noticed in the video when she was applying it though, she just like really piled it on. It's meant to be enough foundation on this little applicator to cover the whole face. I just think you have to be really careful with how much you use because it can look really cakey, it can feel a little bit heavy, but just the amount that's on the applicator blended across the face, I think it's an absolutely beautiful foundation. So this is me with no foundation. You can see that I have a lot of redness. I have some pore issues around my nose area. My under eye circles are quite dark, and I have a lot of redness in my nose. I'm also really difficult to match as far as matching my face to my neck. This is the bottle for the foundation. You can see it's a screw top lid and it has a lovely little applicator. So the amount on the applicator when you pull it out of the bottle should be enough to cover the entire face. So you can see here that I'm sort of striping it on. I started with my cheeks because I feel like I need the most coverage there. And then I sort of applied it in the progression of where I need the most coverage. So starting with the most coverage and then going outward. Try not to get it in my hair there, which I obviously did. I really work that onto the skin until I'm sure that all of the foundation is applied. And now I'm gonna go for my damp beauty blender to apply it. You can see that I'm just sort of quickly bouncing this all over the skin. Because it is damp, it will definitely help to sheer out the foundation a little bit. I feel like especially on my nose, I can tell a huge difference. That's one problem area for me, that I feel like foundation just doesn't wanna sit correctly. But with this foundation and the beauty blender, I feel like it makes such a difference. I don't feel like I have to work super fast. I feel like the foundation really blends in well and it doesn't dry too quickly so that, once I get done with one area, if I get to another, it's not already dry and I can't blend it in. It really just sits on top of the skin until you get to it and you're able to really blend it in seamlessly to your skin. So I'm just bouncing until I get it all blended in. Then I take just a tad bit more of the foundation. It's sort of buildable. I wouldn't put too much, but just a little bit under the eyes, and I'm using the pointy end of my blender just to tap that in. And then I have a little red spot on the left cheek there, and I'm just tapping that in as well. I still feel like I need some concealer underneath my eyes, but only because I have really dark circles. I feel like if you have moderate dark circles or just don't really have an issue with dark circles, you really wouldn't even need to use a concealer, I suppose, unless you were going to brighten underneath the eyes. But I feel like it just really blends in well. You can see here that it's gotten rid of all of my redness. It matches my neck perfectly. I don't feel like there's any, mismatch or discoloration happening on the face. I have blended everything in. I feel like it looks really seamless. Now it's time to add my concealer and the rest of my face. Now the one drawback is that it says it's a foundation plus concealer, but I do feel like under my eyes I have to go in with concealer. That's just me though, because I have really dark circles. I have to use a corrector and a concealer. So I did follow up with my L'Oreal Visible Lift Blur Concealer under the eyes, blended that in with my Beauty Blender, and it works just fine. I think if you didn't have really dark circles, that this would actually cover really well and you wouldn't have to worry about that. Now the shade range is pretty extensive. There are quite a few colors in this. The gentleman consultant at the counter that I talked to when I purchased it said they were already planning to come out with shade extensions, because the one I have today is the very lightest. I am pretty fair, but I'm not usually the very lightest color. I'm usually like one up from the lightest. So if you have really fair skin, I would check the Clinique website or check back with a counter in the coming months to see if they've given those shade extensions yet, because I do feel like this will probably be a little bit too dark for you. Although give it a try, you never know if blending it out might actually make it match you a little bit better. Now the price on this for 1 fluid ounce is $27. I think that's a really fair price. It's not drugstore, but it's not, you know, higher end, super expensive prices either. That's what I love about Clinique, is they're sort of on the lower price range of the high-end products. So it's, you know, it's not a YSL foundation that's going to cost you $60, but it's not something from the drugstore that's going to cost you $10. But I do love this foundation. I think it's fantastic. I really recommend giving it a try if you're in the, you know, in the market for a foundation and you have sort of combination to slightly oily skin. I think this would work really well for you. I definitely don't think the applicator is gimmicky at all. I mean, it's sort of funny looking because it's this giant doe foot applicator, but I think that it really works and it keeps you from getting the foundation all over your fingers, which I really hate. I know that some people have talked about it being unsanitary because you're like putting it on your face and then dipping it back in, but it's my face and I clean my face, so I'm not really worried about it. Now, if I were a makeup artist, what I would probably do is to take it out and apply it, you know, on a palette or on the back of my hand or something, but since it's just me, I just put it right back in the bottle and don't worry about it. Click that little box right there to watch my last video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to talk about all things glamour. Talk to you guys later. Bye.